Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Flyover State of Film, episode 40, 50, I don't even pay attention. Who cares? It doesn't matter. This episode is brought to you by Crack and Rum. A good friend of mine is moving, and he gave this to me because he didn't want to move it. I appreciate it, Justin. Shout out to you. With me tonight are my boys, Joe, TJ, Yusef. What's up?
Hey guys, what's up? I didn't actually know we had sponsors. I was going to pitch a new sponsor this time. I think we needed a change.
Do you know we've lasted 54 episodes without a bit like that, Joe? You just did it.
Oof.
Didn't wear face masks. We didn't do any of that stuff. And
Didn't do black.
We came.
Joe just did white face.
We're in it. We're
Anyway,
finally
this-
crossed over, guys.
if I can find out a way,
Oh.
there you go. I see if I can find a way. As soon as Joe puts a red hat on, I'm blurring his entire screen out.
The big blue dot over his face, like they used to do on,
No, this is
that'd be good stuff. That'd be good stuff.
last time. This is a Rockford Peaches hat.
Nice.
Why would you do
I
that?
have I have a couple of those in my house as well. It's weird. I live in Central Ohio, Buckeye country, so I see a lot of red hats. So I'm always on the, I'm like,
God.
I'm on edge all the time. There's red hats
Steal
everywhere.
God. Oh no,
I'm
no.
having it. I'm like, what? You're an old man. You're an old white guy with a red hat. Oh, okay. All right. Ohio
I
State.
haven't bought a red hat.
Occasionally it's a Rutgers.
So we all know because of the lockdowns, the virus, the resurgence, it's all bad. We're still all locked up. We still got no real news. One thing that happened was that Tenet was pushed back indefinitely. Tenet was pushed back. The new Christopher Nolan movie was pushed back indefinitely. It had been the one that they were like hanging on to. He would only like push it back incrementally. He was really sure that they were going to be the first movie back, and finally they gave up the ghost on that one. So it prompted me. I'm the one who was prompted to say this. What movie that has been pushed back would you mind if it never came out? Just let it go. Just you won't miss it. And I'll start because I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit and say I could not give a fuck less about the Fast and the Furious franchise. I mean, how many of these exact same movies do you need? People complain about the MCU. Oh, they're all the same superhero. At least those movies have different characters in them sometimes. Like,
No, the Fast movies.
fucking Fast and the Furious movie is the same, and it's just this.
What
Bye.
is that,
Just say
Fast
goodbye.
10?
Plus,
Is
we
that
just got
Fast 10?
Bloodshot. You've had your Vin Diesel. That's plenty.
That was the first. I'll say this though, over their credit, that was the first major release to go. Yeah, we're going to next year.
Because they can. Because they want to make some type of money.
Give everybody time to forget about Hobbs and Shaw. They weren't happy. Oh, Joe froze. It's him this time,
Joe.
right? It's not me.
No, it's him. This is all Joe this time.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind that if they cancel it because we get it at this point. But part of me wants to see. I didn't even see the last three. How the fuck are they gonna bring back Han? Like the excuse for him to be alive?
yeah.
It's going to be a twin. You think they'll do the twin thing?
Now
They brought back Michelle Rodriguez, right? Like she.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
good.
but
Good point, Joe.
and also I want to understand how the fuck John Cena and and Vin Diesel are related.
You know, it's going to be that they were like foster brothers who grew up, and that's the whole reason that family's so important, because he didn't have a real family. He had like a created family and shit like that.
But they don't ever mention his mom, do they?
I don't honestly. There's probably a lot of lore that I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since the Paul Walker passed.
I tried to watch
like
5, and the one that everybody said was good.
Yeah,
And I found it to be laughably bad, and then I just was like, no, I'll walk away. And then subsequently they made a bunch of movies that are just like that, which people like. And again, I don't care, but I wouldn't miss it. And this is my question, so I'm fucking doing it. I'm saying it. I'll get rid of it.
Oh, it's your question.
That's
How
right.
about
I
you?
came up with this. Remember?
I enjoy
How about you,
that.
TJ?
I mean, I was gonna
Alright,
take even.
Guys, I'm back.
We've been missing you.
Yes, thank goodness we can resume the conversation now. We definitely stopped and waited.
We did not stop, Joe.
No, I
We went
heard
fast
some
and
of it.
furious on it.
Oh, look at this guy with the
Ah,
topical.
I
Good point,
mean, I
though.
really don't even know what movies are coming out, and like, I'd want to see Mulan at some point. Something is different. I mean, the lowest hanging fruit that I'm so fucking sick of hearing about is the one that you lead off with, is Tenet. don't-
We're gonna cancel Tenet.
We don't fucking need it. You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be some fucking mediocre movie that a lot of people are gonna be like, "It's so smart," and Christopher Nolan did it again, and then you watch it like 6 times, and you're just like, okay, now I'm just fucking, you're just an asshole. You get it. Every single person you've ever come in contact with, you think you're smarter, you and your fucking brother. I don't give a shit. The only thing that has any interest in that movie is the guy from Black Klansman. I can't get his name off. It doesn't watch the stuff.
Watch John David.
Yeah. I mean, other than that,
yeah,
he uses the same actors every fucking time. They all do the same thing in every movie he's ever used.
He also has Robert Pattinson in there.
Yeah,
too.
Robert
Yes,
Pattinson's in this
two
one.
new guys in there.
yeah, dude.
I'm excited. You know, the thing about
exciting
Tenet
movie.
for me was that Tenet
Tenet?
had me excited to see a Nolan movie again, which I hadn't felt like in a while. I didn't like Interstellar. I still haven't seen Dunkirk. Like, I had a digital download. I have it. I just still haven't watched it. I just can't. I just
I
don't
bet
care.
you never will
should-
until like Father's Day, like when you're 45.
Right, exactly. I just turn it
Yeah.
over on Father's Day.
You should
But
watch
I
it.
think the trailer was pretty good, and I was like, okay, but I could see if it never came out, it's not like my life would change. I'd be all right.
Dude, I have a question.
I
watched
think
Anyone
the
again,
thing
whatever.
with Tenet, though, is like you said, is the different. Like TJ said, it's the same cast. Is the different cast this time? Is John David Washington?
You know, I mean, okay.
Is Pattinson?
Here's a question. Because it looks exactly the same fucking universes. Is he gonna do some M. Night Shyamalan like years later connection where he's like, this and Inception are in the same universe, and
No,
you might see some things?
No
If
one
he
doesn't
does,
do
people
that.
would love it, but he won't. Like, people would
I
love
gotta
that
hear
shit,
about
but
it.
he won't do it.
Even if it's
too
good, I gotta
classic for
hear
that.
about it.
Do you think Nolan eats hot dogs from the middle?
Nolan's too good to eat anything.
Well,
Well,
he's
yes, if
from
he
Chi-
did,
he lived
that's
in
exactly
Chicago
how you eat them,
for
or from the
years.
bottom.
Just to be
All
different.
right. Well,
Talk about Nolan anymore.
geez.
What about you, Joe? What movie do you want to see get
All
pushed
right.
back? Definitely.
I went with something that is one of my favorite films of all time, and I think we could just never have the sequel released. That's Coming to America. Coming to America.
Oh.
The sequel. Get the fuck out
I'm
of
not
here.
mad at you for that.
I have generally, like, the fact that in the set photos, they're still wearing the same fucking clothes, like every bad comedy that's done 30 years later than they were 30 years before, tells me it's not going to be good. Like, you're wearing the costume you wore in 1983 or 5 or whatever that was. Fuck off. I'm going to see it, and if I like it, I hope I like it, you know? Like, I hope it's a good movie. But if it doesn't exist, if it doesn't come out, it's for the world.
I
Do
was
you think that's
reminded that there's another Ghostbusters coming out, and I thought the same way
Oh,
about that.
wow, yeah. I forgot about that bullshit.
Yeah, I was watching, like, I think it was when I was watching Bloodshot, there was a trailer for it. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's still coming, too.
So you're the one who saw Bloodshot. God damn it.
I saw Bloodshot too, and it stinks.
yeah, it's nothing.
piece
It's
of
a
shit.
real big nothing burger. Here's our Bloodshot
like,
review.
it's
Meh.
Not even like exciting dumbness in it.
I do agree with you, Joe, but I wouldn't mind seeing the comedy duo of Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy. Please check out our comedy duo's bracket and the nice
Oh,
flyby
Whoa.
back together.
Right.
But also,
Right.
I think with the technology they have today, I guarantee the set pictures you saw of them the same stuff as some weird de-aging thing. They're just gonna go back and like do like a quick
Oh God,
type
even
of
worse.
thing.
You're just so even worse.
Yeah, but
I didn't see the Dolomite movie, but people seemed really like that. So maybe
Oh, yeah,
if
that's
it's got
a great one.
if it's along the same vibe, if it's got kind of the same energy.
doesn't he have like a
maybe
Netflix
he's gonna
special
keep that
coming out at
rolling.
some point? When's that come out?
What?
That's probably delayed by 5 years because
Eddie Murphy's Netflix special. They got paid
who
like
knows?
70 million for it. But yeah, I
everybody,
wanna
you
see,
said,
but I
could you give
don't.
us one?
Oh, I wrote it down. Let me see. Jared Leto.
Morbius.
I saw I did also see a Morbius trailer and was reminded of that coming out.
I forgot.
But
I got
just like
win actually.
Jared Leto as a whole, can we just postpone him?
Wasn't he also recently rumored he's going to be part of the next? They're doing another Tron movie, and he's like rumored to be circling around that too.
And he's also going to have
Why
like a
does
bigger
Hollywood
role,
keep-
David Ayer, Suicide Squad cut. So it's like, all right, can we just cancel?
Yeah, I think just
Why does Hollywood keep casting Jared Leto? Like, have you met one person that's like, oh, you know, I really love in movies? Oh, that Leto guy.
he was.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the one I
Blade Runner.
because the movie is so good, I just give him a pass. Is Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
But also,
Lord of
he's just
War.
playing like he could be Guy Pearce from Alien Covenant in that movie
Yeah.
too, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter. He's not playing anything
Yeah.
special. He's just bad rich guy, you know, like
Legends.
Yeah,
Only two
I
good
always
Leto.
thought the guy in Upgrade reminded me a lot of Jared Leto, but like a better version of him, the bad guy in that.
oh yeah, who's not who ends up? Oh no, don't spoil. But
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about the rich guy, right? Who puts in
the rich
STEM.
guy, Who
Yeah,
gives a
the
shit.
villain.
Right.
He's a
Yeah.
great villain, but he doesn't really kill
killer.
people.
Oh wow, a villain that doesn't kill people. That reminds me of something. Did someone have a topic today?
Yeah, guys. Since we're watching Manhunter, we just watched Manhunter. I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like what's
spurred
a really
on by our love of Hannibal
good-
Lecter and obsession over
Yeah.
Hannibal now on Netflix. Everybody go watch Hannibal on Netflix.
What's your what's your favorite like? Not like I wanted to shy away from like your slashers, your Freddys, your Jasons.
Yeah, we're
your
not doing
Chuckies.
a horror episode, guys. This
Yeah.
isn't
What's your
slasher.
favorite?
Sonic.
Just like movie killer, like non-movie killer. So could be a villain, could be a killer, could be an anti-hero. Doesn't you just so TJ, who were you thinking of?
Ben Affleck's Batman. This one, I have a few. I'm gonna do one now, and then if we can shoot off a couple later, I'll do that. But lately, my favorite movie killer has been Samara Weaving, hands down. From Ready or Not,
Oh, God,
Guns
Ready or
Akimbo.
Ready or not?
How was Guns Akimbo? Do a brief.
It
Was it
was
all right?
bad.
It's not great, but it's funnish,
All right.
and she's the
okay.
best part about it. That's
Okay,
that's
fair
all I can
enough.
tell you.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's
TJ,
fine.
like we were hanging out like last weekend, and that's all he mentioned it several times. He's like, it was fun, it was good. Still haven't watched it.
I was annoyed at first, then I enjoyed it by the end of it, just because I just got really ripped and just enjoyed it. But
Just let it wash over you.
yeah, hers, Nick's, and like the color saturation of it I just thought it was fun. It's like it should have been shot in like 2004, but it came out now. That's like the best thing I can
I'll
tell
say
you.
this though, to talk about a movie we all have seen of hers though, you're referring to is her in Ready or Not. It's so fun when she finally has that turn.
Oh man, yeah, the
She
turn.
starts fucking ripping.
And I also do this one too. But with Samara Weaving, it's just she's gorgeous as anything, but it also looks like an everyday person at the same time. Like what people call her, like the is she American? Or
She's Australian. She's Hugo Weaving. She's a.
That's why she looks
related to
like
Margot
Margot Robbie kind of
Yeah.
too.
I was gonna call her like the
She's
version
another
of
one of those nepotism hires.
yeah, the guy who looks like Tom
We're
Hardy.
not
but the
complaining
American
about it
version.
this time though.
And then I go from her to Sarah Carter, played by Shauna McDonald from The Descent, and Descent 1 and Descent Part 2. She has an awesome flip at the same time, like Samara Weaving.
Underrated sequel, Descent 2.
Love that, and also like Juno
It's
in
not
that.
bad.
Yeah, Juno also has a great part in that where she becomes a badass killer, and they have that nice little face off at one point.
Yeah.
Brian, can you refresh my memory of Descent 2? Because I love Descent 1. But was that a
it only
continuation
works if you
of
go with the theatrical cut where the girl actually
okay, yeah.
survives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
And
always
then it's
watched the
basically one of
director's
those like
cut.
Halloween 2 situations where it picks right up and like the cops
Yeah,
kind of
I've
take
seen
her
it.
back to investigate. It's not bad for a sequel to a
Yeah, I've
to a
seen
low
it.
budget
It's
horror.
solid. 'Cause every time I watch the Descent, I watch that director's cut where
Right, I
it's the
do as
fake
well. The
out.
director's cut's got that great ending and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
And then
So anyway, I would just
yeah.
remind that
No, those are the two I have.
Great point, Joe.
like
What do you got, Yusef?
I went with T1000.
Ooh.
He has a great list of kills in that movie. Like right off the bat, he kills that cop, stabbing him in the stomach. He throws people off trucks. He shoots them. He stabs them through milk cartons. He kills
the
dogs.
Foster Dad's one of the best. That's an all timer.
Yep.
And the security guard with the one finger through the eye.
The twins.
He's just like literally an unstoppable killing machine. And I've always liked that he's just, I mean, no offense to Patrick, I'm forgetting his other name, Robert Patrick.
Patrick.
Yeah.
But he looks like Arnold could snap him in half any moment, and he's just like always holds his own, and his face is so far more intimidating than Arnold.
It's that original idea of like Lance Henriksen was supposed to be the Terminator because he was supposed to be like unassuming and you know he's an infiltration unit, but then of course it was like,
O.J.
what if
Simpson.
Arnold Schwarzenegger? And everybody's like, hell yeah.
or O.J. Simpson.
Is that
And they were
real?
like, don't worry, Lance, it's cool. You can be a cop who gets murdered.
No, TJ, that's real. The O.J. Simpson was originally cast as Terminator, and the producers were like, he's too. No one can believe him as a murderer.
Too nice,
As a killer
man.
like that. He's too nice.
I think they actually did screen tests with him, and when they tried to fit gloves on him, it wouldn't fit. So they were like, this is very essential to the part. But yeah, that's my pick. I really love T1000.
Great pick.
That's good.
What about you, Brian?
Brian, baby.
Oh man, I have a couple honorable mentions that I'll get to but one I wanted that I don't think gets enough credit because it's kind of like one of those forgotten '90s thrillers. But I actually personally think not that the late '90s was a high point for adult themed thrillers who were like movies that were geared towards older audiences that were like for grown-ups. I don't mean they were horny. I just mean that they were, But I'm talking about Harry Connick Jr. as Daryl Lee Cullum in Copycat. Just a great, like, slimy, dirty serial killer guy, and he it's again nobody's seen this one. That's why I wanted to get it out here. I got some more high stakes ones for later, well known names, but this is one that people should check out. He's really he's got a great gross Southern accent. And he's just like a really fucking slimy killer, and it's got Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I think I definitely have seen that. Like my parents watching.
Copycat, you said?
Yeah,
Copycat.
I'm gonna make a note of this.
It's like I said, I think the '90s was a great time for thrillers and stuff. Like this is one of those movies when you watch it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, the producers saw Silence of the Lambs and are like, let's get Sigourney Weaver and do a Silence of the Lambs type movie. But she's like,
I think
she's like a writer who ends up having agoraphobia, so she can't leave her apartment. So like, there's kind of a bottle element to it with her and
the Silence of the Lambs effect of the '90s, because there are great thrillers just trying to get that, is what I wished Gone Girl did for like the 2000s. Like I was like, big wave of thrillers.
That girl on a train, and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be the Gone Girl thing where we're going to get some movies like this, and that was it. They did one, and that was all.
Yeah, like I love those. Like when the Gift did really well recently, like not recently anymore, but a few years ago, I was like, cool, we're going to get these mid-budget thrillers again. Nope.
Not really.
Anyway, that's a good pick though, because you're right about that 90. Like we're talking about with not Manhunter, but like this whole Hannibal, Silence of the Lambs, like just like Hand Rocks the Cradle, like just
Right,
Murder
right,
at
yeah, there was just-
1600.
Yeah. Like I said, like R-rated thrillers for adults, stuff that starred dudes in suits. You know what I mean? Like,
my dad would be like, "Kath, this is a good movie," and she fell asleep. I was like, I guess the twist. Like, so movies like, "Can I watch?" And be like, "That's a good movie." The Pelican Brief, great.
Give another more
All right,
known one.
oh,
So,
you don't want me to give another one now, or you want me to wait?
You can wait then. We'll wait.
Give us a for last. We'll do round one here, and we'll go around the horn again.
So mine is actually a Michael Mann movie, and it's Vincent and Hannah and Collateral. Tom Cruise.
Oh, I didn't expect that pick.
The first I'm hearing of it.
This is surprising.
Sorry, guys. And I just not only do I love that movie, Tom Cruise is like perfectly cast in that film, and he pulls off that like a villain, hitman so well because he's a sociopath that. But he doesn't play that ever. So when you saw that, it was like, holy shit! Like I want to see this Tom Cruise more, and he's like smooth, but he has that like kind of losing cool part to it, where like because he's a psychopath. And he's a salt and pepper hair.
There's always that part of the movie where he has to go a step too far, you know?
Yeah.
Joe, if you want to see that Tom Cruise, that version of Tom Cruise more, you really have to pay to get into Scientology and go up the levels. And then
I was gonna say, you know who's probably seen that side of Tom Cruise? Shelley Miscavige. I bet she's seen that side of him.
Even though we haven't seen her.
Right. That's why.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that like to me like he's a great killer. If it wasn't for Jamie Foxx, it would have been a nice mission. He would have got the job done. He would have killed Epstein.
That was like the Jamie Foxx's career too. He was
I love that movie.
I love that movie too. And Brian said he didn't like it.
What are some like really fucking bad movies we don't like?
Oh, we're going round two.
What else? Let's go around again. You got another one for us, CJ?
What are you doing, man? Me?
Fuck you, Joe.
I was gonna go like I thought the easiest one would have been John Wick. I think probably one of the best killers has been around for 3 movies in a row.
Kill him. So, has anybody done a body? I'm sure somebody on the YouTube has done a body count video, but I'd love to watch it.
Yeah. And then I was just thinking you were talking about like a semi like scary like serial killer type of guy. I was thinking of Mark Duplass as like Creep 1 and 2.
Creep and Creep 2, both good.
Popped in, I was like, those movies are fun, even though in Creep
Such a good ending. Such a good ending.
Great ending.
Yeah, so Creep 2 maybe not as much, but definitely the first one.
Oh yeah. And that's all
right.
The John Wick body count is.
We'll find out tomorrow.
I have this up. John Wick 1, 77. John Wick 2, 128. John Wick 3, 94.
Jeez.
Oh, he went down.
Pussy.
Oh God.
How about you, Brian? What's your honorable mentions?
I have 2 honorable mentions. One I can't believe hasn't been mentioned yet, but Patrick Bateman, American Psycho.
I consider him like an iconic serial killer, kind of.
Oh, I guess I was thinking more of like franchise killers.
Yeah,
and people
you're right.
Who were like really big icons. So, but that's why he's an honorable mention. I knew he'd be more popular. And I don't know if people know about this one, but as far as one that's like legitimately scary and like uncomfortable and almost feels like a fucking documentary, Michael Rooker, Henry, Portrait of Serial Killer. Just
that's one I gotta
incredible, and like it's a hard watch. It's not a movie you pop.
It's a hard watch.
Like it's real. It's
not your Halloween horror movie night movie.
Right. This is like this is cinema veritas, baby. This is the real.
That's more intriguing.
What about anybody else? Got some more? And Youssef, Joe, you got follow ups?
Got any more?
Not the fisherman from I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh man, I felt bad for you when you watching that, knowing that like you kind of like had fond memories. I was like, this is gonna be hard. It's be hard for him.
What are you waiting for?
It's on Shudder. It's on Shudder. So I was like, I've been throwing movies on during the day as like background noise work, and even as background noise, is like, this is fucking bad.
Bad background
This
noise.
is bad. I don't know. You think you go
Does-
through a lot? Actually, weirdly enough, I love TJ's pick of Batman, but I'm also going to go Superman too. Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill Superman killed lots of people. All right. I wouldn't want to live in Zack Snyder's Justice League DC universe, but maybe there are some worlds we might want to live in. Is there a movie world? Is anybody got a question about movie worlds?
That's funny you asked that, Brian.
The world.
I was just sitting around one day and I had this idea pop in my head. I was like, "Oh man, the world sucks right now." And what kind of
How
movie
did you
world-
figure that out?
You know, I didn't have any help from a beautiful Puerto Rican man. But anyways, I was thinking, world sucks. What movie universe would you want to live in right now? I guess I'll start because it's my topic. And this movie world hasn't necessarily come out yet, so I'm semi-cheating. And also, I hate the movies before this world, except for the original 3. Little tease. But there was a short that came out that I thought was interesting.
Oh my
and kind
god, just fucking say it.
It's Jurassic World. We get it. Just fucking say it already.
of Jurassic World
I'm sorry.
Dominion. I really want to live in that world with dinosaurs that are still around, and there's the
I agree.
fear.
That battle at Big Rock or whatever that short
You guys
was.
ruined my
that was
whole
awesome.
lead in with this, man. I had this whole build up I was trying to do. Joe, just because your connection fucking dies every 30 seconds, you son of a bitch.
He had enough
I
questions
would
to
love-
stop.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you, TJ.
I want to take a step back and just kind of like we're too obsessed with technology right now. We're the alpha fucking apex predators in the fucking world essentially with our weapons. But I want to take a step backwards, man. I would love to go out camping with the family and the fear of a triceratops running through the fucking camp or a fucking raptor hunting you at some point. Like I know it's fucking scary, but the world right now is fucking shitty as hell. This world seems a little bit more together, even though there's dinosaurs on the loose. I don't know. I think it would be fun. I'm not looking to kill or shoot dinosaurs or hunt them, but the fear of having nature have a step up on us again, like back in the Wild Wild West and like the old, like, you know, Lincoln Log cabin days. I would love that. I would love to be in that type of world again, where you're scared to kind of we're not number one anymore. And
So this is not the park anymore. They're
yeah,
outside roaming everywhere.
They're
Yeah.
finally out in the world like they've been promising for a couple movies now.
like a herd of Dilophosaurus, and you're just like, the guy from Seinfeld died.
That trailer, man. That trailer was such a bait and switch. They even literally show you the teaser clip, the mid credit clip. They show it to you in the trailer of that second one. So that was such a bitch move.
Well, like something like that. I didn't want to pick like a go happy, go lucky world, but that was mine. You know, let's take a step backwards for once and not be the first in line. Brian, what you got?
Oh, I get to go next. Okay. This is a universe that I was thinking about. It gets kind of a bad rap, but I think there's a way to look at it when you move forward. And this is the Demolition Man universe. But I want to show up after John Spartan has like had his big. So Dr. Cocteau's dead, and he's got his speech. He's like, "You get a little dirty, and you get a lot clean, and maybe you meet somewhere in the middle." I want to live in that world. You know, we got
But
the
nobody wears
technology,
fucking masks.
we got the kind of like peaceful like like kind of utopia, but also now we're gonna like kind of like let pop culture and let meat back in. We're gonna like ease off the brakes a little bit, and sex can involve penetration again if you want consent to, but this would be a good, they went a little too far, but now we're reeling it back. I think they're gonna find a nice balance, and I think I could live there.
Wait, so we're saying, and Taco Bell, right? Correct. Taco Bell is number one,
Well,
right?
Taco Bell, but also the rat burgers can come back because like now we're gonna mix the societies.
I
mean
wouldn't
White
mind
Castle?
that, but aioli.
Well, also, I think there's a misconception about the whole Taco Bell thing in those movies. We only see fancy Taco Bell, but it stands to reason there would also be like an affordable drive-through version. So like I bet there's like levels. They say everything is Taco Bell, but I still think there's variety. It's just all Taco Bell branded.
In your world, does everybody recognize that Dennis Leary is as a douchebag? The actor, not the Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no!
I think
Oh
one of those
no.
things where he seems cool when you're living in the sewer, but as soon as he's part of the like decision process in society, he's gonna get weeded out pretty quick. Like there'll be a couple things that we'll do based on him and his riffs, and then like it'll be like, oh, okay, now let's let the adults take over here.
I always
I
get
think
him.
Benjamin Bratt's really gonna move to the forefront.
I always get him and the underground Renaissance guy from Resistance guy from what's Arnold Schwarzenegger? Total Recall. Him.
Oh yeah,
I get them confused,
Quato.
even though one has a mutant in his belly. Yeah.
Right.
Who's
You,
next?
you know the one's Dennis Leary because he literally stops the movie dead in its tracks to do a bit from his stand-up.
Fucking sucks.
What you got, Joe?
Hey, that movie's great despite how much Dennis Leary sucks, okay?
Yeah,
Yusef,
that's
what
true.
you got? What world are you going to live in, man?
Oh, I'll
Thank you. I just got overridden.
all right, I picked.
I'm the host. I host
That's
this
true.
shit.
Oh boy.
You may be drinking a little whiskey and Joe's got some fire in his belly today, but somebody gave me a bottle of rum, so look out. I'm a pirate and shit.
I picked Upgrade, but specifically the shit rundown part of town where an androgynous hacker can keep you on life support while you're in the VR world. And once I'm in that VR world, I want to be in Lobster, but I don't want to find a partner, and they're gonna turn me into a rat. And then I'm gonna put a restaurant in France, and I'm gonna control a human and be a popular restaurant in France.
I was kind of hoping you were gonna go the other way and fall in like a sewer with some sewer like mutant stuff.
I
Find
was
turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
It's
I
too
was
much
like, oh,
work,
he's gonna
man.
do it. I love you. And then you went
I'm
the
just
other way.
gonna cook some ratatouille, and that's it.
That actually goes with your style very well. That kind of
I
flows.
didn't
Yeah.
realize that makes a lot of sense though that the lobster is in the Ratatouille cinematic universe and that rat used to be a person.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense now.
the
Do you-
entire
is your-
Pixar world.
Is lobster your
It
main?
makes
Is your
so
best
much
meal?
sense.
Flip it 360.
Joe,
Lobster your
now
best meal?
you are allowed to speak.
Okay, cool, guys.
All right, what's
I've
the
been
next
given
topic?
back-
So the worst
How-
years of movies.
That's fine.
I love you.
That's fine, man.
That's what you. That's what you get
Just
for ruining
move
my
on
dress.
without Joe. Sorry, Joe.
For ruining my
No,
dress,
no.
John. All right.
I get it,
Come
guys.
on, tell us about your movie world. We don't know where you want to live, you big nerd.
Oh well, originally I was gonna say the Simpsons movie because I would just love to live in Springfield, and it's a cheat because like and it's always changing, and like you just have adventures and a cartoon, and like.
But
know,
would
there's
you
no
be a
ever real
would you be a
conflict.
cartoon or would you be like a 3D you?
No, I wouldn't be a Treehouse of Horror 3D. I'd be a cartoon in the Simpsons world. But I also think it'd be pretty fun to live in the. I would be pretty fun to live in the world of The Ring. And just always kind of live in that fear of like, is this movie I'm gonna rent gonna kill me?
So
Like, it's rough.
Or also the guarantee you could just like put that movie on your shelf and it's like, well, if I'm ever into dire straits, I know how to get rid of myself in 7 days.
is this
Yeah,
a world,
exactly.
is this
Like
a world
go out
where
like
you-
a
that's
coward.
not
I'm
fun.
too cowardly for a bullet, but I can do this. I can put this movie
Yeah,
in and
that's more
watch.
fun. But like, listen, it's here. Yeah, well, I've stressed for 7 days. Fine, but I end it.
so this is a world where we never get past VHSs. Like it's just
Right.
always
Right.
We
it's
we
always
don't.
tapes.
Yeah, unless you
I have
look at that
I have
shitty
Disney shells
sequel.
up to here, just fucking to the fucking roof. I like it. I'll take them all. I loved opening those things too, and the smell of them.
And
Can I
the
give
taste of
honorable
everyone is,
mention
like,
to the world of Wall-E, but before they have to go back to Earth? I like the where they're the fat guys on the little.
We're already getting there, man. We're already fucking there almost.
we're not.
Those are almost
they-
game. You know what those things are floating around? Those are gamer chairs. That's exactly what they're floating around in that movie.
They're like the representation of that South Park episode, the WoW South Park episode of the guy.
I don't know, man. I feel like in Wally that would
Prince.
be like. I feel like in Wally that'd be like the worst year to live in, and also probably for movies.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they
there
came
wouldn't be any good movies coming out. Are there any other beers that were bad for movie?
Any other beers?
Yes.
So
Beers. What beers have
Um,
the worst movies in them?
Oh, any
Sam
light
Adams.
beer because you have to pee every 5 minutes. So
Yeah, that's what I'm drinking.
so yeah, 2020 has sucked ass, and like we said up top, the only one movie that was trying to come out is now
Bloodshot.
postponed indefinitely. Yeah. Um, also,
Can I say one thing about 2020?
no, you can't, man.
Staten Island
So
sucked.
oh yeah, it fucking sucked. What were you gonna say, Joe?
I just was gonna say, I went to say in the beginning, the only movie I wish to come out, like they say, let's go streaming, is Candyman. Like, I hope they don't hold that for the moderate box office.
What's the one? The Green Knight. I wanted to see that.
The Green Knight. Fuck, I was so excited for that one.
That's one I wish they just give up and release on streaming. I'd pay for that.
So there's a few that I do
Fuck
wish they
you.
just give up on. I just want to make that clear.
But I don't
There's
want them
no-
to give up on Mulan or Black Widow. Like, hang on to your big
Dune.
tentpoles and just do those
Dune's the big
later.
one. No, they should give up on Black Widow.
So I wanted to ask the guys, 2020 is going to go down in history as one of the worst, if not the worst, in terms of the financial impact of Hollywood. But they have the excuse of the pandemic. But I wanted to ask the guys, what's the worst year for movies in terms of quality in your eyes? And I'm going to start off because I have a list. And I picked the year of 2004. And the reason why I picked 2004 is not only because it gave us Crash, arguably the worst, best movie picture ever, or that it gave us fucking Passion of the Christ. It's because it's like, for me, it was the year of the disappointment. We had Blade Trinity come out. We had The Village. We had Van Helsing. We had Lady Killers. I know Brian kind of likes it. We had Around the World in 80 Days, which was a huge disappointment for me because fucking Jackie Chan.
It had Jackie Chan in it, I know.
Oh, don't worry. Another year has Jackie Chan.
Is that Owen
in it,
Wilson too? Or is that
Yeah.
another?
No,
that's
Shanghai Nights came out.
Shanghai Nights.
Yeah. Talk about disappointing sequels.
Yeah, and Punisher. I know some people like Punisher, but fuck, that movie sucks.
That is the Tom Jane is objectively the worst Punisher movie, and also people always talk about that Dirty Laundry short. It's not even that good, and he waits and like lets somebody fully get damn near raped, and then he finally gets involved. It sucks. It fucking sucks.
So those are like the disappointments, but then we have like straight up trash fire, which is Catwoman, which is Phantom of the Opera, which is Welcome to Mooseport, Fat Albert,
Oh,
Soul
fuck.
Plane,
Fuck.
Alexander,
Welcome to
King Arthur, Anaconda 2. I'm just gonna rattle Garfield, Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, Baby Genesis 2, Surviving Christmas, New York Minute, Torque. Do you remember Torque?
Yep.
Ice Cube in a fucking bike.
You guys,
Taxi, Jimmy Fallon.
early Flyover, probably like the last first 20-ish. There was a point where that was on a list that I almost picked for us just because.
Fuck you.
I wanted to
Exorcist.
make. You said a movie that I think everyone should be aware of how bad it is. Welcome to Mooseport is harmless, but it's not because it literally made Gene Hackman retire.
I was going to say, isn't that Gene Hackman's last movie? Also, the movie of the year Joe's going to come up with retired a great actor as well.
So, it's probably on my list. So sorry, Yusuf.
We also had like a bunch of bullshit sequels, like Lion King 1.5 and Mulan 2, for example, which are just like straight up cash grabs that sucked ass as well.
Yeah, but those are straight to video. You can hardly
but they're
straight
there.
to video's never good any year.
And we also had The Exorcist: The Beginning, which is just fucking.
Well, that was right after
That's two bad movies, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that was right after the re-release they did in theaters for The Exorcist. So they were like, people like it.
And I think I skipped a bunch of over, but the main reason why this year sucks is because it gave us Garden State, and the movies the landscape of movies never covered from having.
That's a movie. That's another one of those movies that I thought I liked the first time I watched it. Then I was like, oh no,
I have a personal I have a personal story about Garden State. They filmed some of it, or apparently in my hometown, and so where my middle, elementary school was, you could see like trailers setting up in the school parking lot, like the parking lot. And me and my friends ran over to that trailer, and we were like, "Hey, like, what is this?" Like, we heard it's a movie filming. We didn't know what
Scrubs
it was.
guy here.
Is this Scrubs?
Well, we didn't know what it was, right? Like, it's not like when they filmed Guess Who in our town, like, they saw like Bernie Mac and like Ashton Kutcher walking around. But we asked, and the woman, I guess it was some like, PA or whatever, and she goes, "Oh, the movie's called Large's Ark." And then years later, I like still remembered it. It was like a very memorable like experience for me. Just to...
Good point, Joe.
Very
So
good.
we also had a bunch of good movies. I just wanted to shout them out, which is Hellboy, Eternal Sunshine, Mean Girls, Dodgeball, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, this whole segment gets a disclaimer. Obviously, every year has good movies in
Yeah,
it.
I just wanted to shout them out just in case somebody's like, "What's
I know my
But what about that one
I know my
movie I
story got
like?
interrupted. I know my story got interrupted.
You're good. And also we had Shark Tale. So,
Fuck
okay.
you.
No,
Oh, you saying that was a
about-
good movie or not?
it's a bad movie. Bad movie.
Man, fuck you. Right?
Brian,
So, was there
Will
anything
Smith
else
doesn't
to your
deserve
story
that.
before we move on? Did you have anything
Yes.
else?
No, it was just very memorable. I remember years later, like piecing it together, like Googling alternate titles, and Large's Ark was one of them.
Large's Ark.
Because his name is Large, and I think
Oh,
like
okay. It just sounds like that's a dumb, pretentious title. I get it.
yeah. Anyway, it literally like it was just like cool a movie thing, and it wasn't a set, it wasn't anything. It was one trailer in the middle of like a pool parking lot that me and my friends knocked on.
If you live in a town where things don't film regularly, if anything comes into like even in your general area, it's a huge fucking deal.
So yeah,
Don't talk about Jersey.
Well, why don't you just move in? Just go into your year because it's almost like you and Yusuf were like right on each other's heels here.
okay, all right. So I had 2003. I'm just gonna ramble off all the movies I picked out, and
It's
just
back-to-back
all
years.
here.
These are
Yeah.
just bad movies, just all in general.
These are just all what I wanted to make clear for this.
We had
so I
already
picked, like,
established when we were talking about the year 2000 a couple weeks ago. Fucking the early 2000s is a cesspool.
It's
It's just
trash.
a
So,
fucking
I
dirt.
picked-
It's so bad.
I picked everything from the good and the bad things I've seen.
Okay.
So, all right. I'm gonna try to do this like the Micro Machines guy because there's like 60.
Oh my god.
Kangaroo Jack, Geely, The Room, Daredevil, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Boat Trip from Justin to Kelly, Radio, The Cat in the Hat, House of the Dead, Underworld, Jeepers Creepers 2, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
Good.
Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, Hulk, Dumb and Dumber, Matrix Reloaded, The Core, Peter Pan, Timeline, Haunted Mansion, Just Married, Johnny English, Biker Boys, The In-Laws, Fighting
How
Temptations.
dare you, Johnny English?
T3, Duplex, Dickie Roberts, former child star, Legally Blonde 2, Tiptoes, Paycheck, Bulletproof Monk, Spy Kids 3D, Gothica, Looney Tunes Back in Action, Just Married, Radio.
Oh,
Swap.
Gothica,
You said
You
radio
said
twice.
Twice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry.
not so bad that it needs to be said twice.
The
agree.
Medallion, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Agent Cody
Oh,
Banks.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico is
Yeah.
good.
Great movie.
Oh, sorry. Fuck. I was thinking of the Mexican. I was thinking of the Mexican with the
Bullshit.
gun.
All right.
Agent Cody Banks, Hollywood Homicide, Intolerable Cruelty, My Boss's Daughter,
I won't stand for it.
National Lampoon's Gold Diggers, National Lampoon's Presents Dorm Days, Pauly Shore is Dead, Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, Uptown Girls.
Okay.
Not time for the
Three
good
of
movies.
those movies weren't in theaters.
Yeah, some of the,
All right,
again, I'm
fine.
not counting straight to videos.
All right. Still, some good movies: Freddy vs. Jason, Return of the King, X2,
Days.
Mystic River, Lost in Translation, Holes, Identity, Old School, School of Rock, Last Samurai, Bad Boys 2, Kill Bill, Old Boy, American Splendor, Matchstick Men, Something's Gotta Give, Bad Santa, Big Fish, Holes, Master and Commander, Cradle to the Grave, Elf.
Can I
Fine.
say that when I was looking at the year 2003, this piece right next to each other of seeing Kill Bill Volume 1 and Old Boy made me not pick this year. I was like, that's too strong. I can't. That supersedes.
I don't know, man.
So much.
There were so many that I went. I've
No,
seen
man, it's trash. You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all.
Like there's like and hidden ones too, like The In-Laws. The In-Laws is terrible.
That's like
Quietly
4 Ashton
bad,
Kutcher
yeah.
movies. I feel like
What?
it's like a whole bunch of Ashton Kutcher movies, like in the peak of like Punked.
Yeah, Just Married.
The other one we
daughter.
said. Yeah, the dad one, my fucking daughter's dad or whatever the fuck
That's
it
what I
was.
said, my boss's daughter.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, man, I heard you say something about Gothica. Gothica is fucking terrible. I visited that a couple.
Oh
Who did?
things
Oh,
things
yeah.
appear on her hand and her wrist, and it's like and
Wait, are
a
you
ghost.
Are you talking about like the Jeremy Sumner Peter Pan?
I don't know, man. Just every Peter Pan.
That Peter Pan movie's fucking good, dude. Take that back.
All right, whatever. I mean, there's questionable ones on here, like.
I don't
You
know.
dare spoil the name of Once Upon a Time in Mexico,
Listen.
and I shall not stand for this.
Listen, do I think the core is hysterical? Yeah. Is it still in this fucking camp of shit? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The medallion.
TJ, you were the
another
only person who I didn't know what we were gonna say. Will you go next, and I will go last. Mercifully,
Sure,
I will let
yeah.
myself go off the hook.
So anyway, I just want to say that I think the strongest movie. There's some strong movies in the year, but 2003, 2004.
Well, tell us in the comments down below, or tweet us. What's your
Absolutely,
worst
tweet
year
us
ever?
what your first year is. Are both of our viewers?
Oh,
2004 had Mean Girls in it, so I
and
feel
also
like
tell
it's,
us
like,
who
very
who
strong.
picked like the worst year amongst us. Tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us. Hit like and
tell us.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe, baby.
Guys, sponsored by Goya
Manscaped.
Bean. Just a bad year.
Cracking.
Just a
God damn
bad
it,
year.
I'm gonna
of
blur
beans.
you again, dude. Stop it. For me, it was I tried to stay. I didn't want to go in the '90s or anywhere earlier than that because I was a fucking kid. I liked a lot of bullshit then. Even if it was bad, I'd say it was fucking good. So I went, but yeah, what?
What?
What'd you say?
What?
Okay. So I went higher up. I went the highest year of all of us, and I think it's the worst year for franchise films of all time. I went with the year 2016. For me, this one, I'll do the same thing Joe did. I'm gonna rattle off all the bad ones that I've seen.
I will say I thought about this because of BVS, but Civil War saved it for me. That's what made me.
Yeah, I mean, but of course, there's Moonlight. There's movies like that. I'm not doing any good movies in this fucking year because I don't give a shit.
Well, it's
I
recent enough
actually-
that you'll remember. That was only a
TJ.
couple years ago. You remember.
TJ, I'm really excited to hear this list because I feel like every year of like since like the last decade, all of the shitty movie pundits are like, every year was amazing. It was such an amazing year.
I mean, my whole thing is like you have lots of money now. There's things you can do on film now that you could fucking make incredible once in a lifetime type things, and they just did these movies. So here we go: Star Wars Rogue One, Ghostbusters remake, Suicide Squad, Batman vs Superman, Patriots Day, Allegiant, Passengers, Fifth Wave, Independence Resurgence, The Killing Joke, the Batman animated movie, The Last Resident Evil. I know you love them, Brian, but sorry. X-Men
suck.
Apocalypse.
No, I acknowledge they're terrible.
Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows, La La Land, The Fantastic Beasts. and
How dare you?
Whatever pockets.
I
keep
would
you.
defend the Turtles. I would defend the Turtles sequel over Fantastic Beasts.
Also,
Oh
Big
my God.
I agree with you. I like it more, but it's just like I can't do Michael Bay shit anymore.
And,
Even though he's not a part of it.
also,
he's
they fucked up Casey Jones so bad. I was like, how did you almost get the Turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady? You got so close, and then you
Thank
fucked up Casey Jones like as badly as you possibly
and
could.
also, I was a huge Arrow guy, and you took one of my favorite actors.
Great,
at the time
like
on TV.
great casting and then
Yes.
terrible interpretation. Like,
So I mean, there's Moonlight, and there's fucking great movies 2016 like Civil War and stuff like that.
The nice
But-
guy.
Nice, yeah, the nice guys. But there's like a lot of
Swiss
these
Army Man?
weird, these weird alien movies they did in 2016 that I didn't even fucking write
Is
down.
that
what
when Life came
theatrical
out?
is. What's that?
Dude, as
Is that
2016
when
also
Life
had
came out?
what?
I don't know.
Life. I feel like that was.
I like that movie. The Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. I think so. I think you're right. Yeah. The
Alien?
weird
You
Venom
said Dead
people.
Yeah, the Alien
Yeah,
movies.
yeah, but they did like weird ones like the Fifth Wave, which shouldn't get theatrical releases. It should have been like Netflix movies, but they were just like, nah, put them in theaters because it was preteen like YA stuff. But I think like 2016 suffered the most from having franchises take plummets.
Oh, they had
If they're gonna get-
Zoolander. Dude, and it's also one of the worst for comedies. Like it had Zoolander's 2, The Brother
I didn't see those.
Greenspeed,
Yeah,
The
Oh,
Boss,
EJ?
Office Christmas Party, Bad Santa 2, Masterminds,
Oh,
Mike
wow.
and Dave Need
Passengers.
Wedding Dates.
Oh
It's so
damn, yeah,
bad.
Masterminds was bad too.
Yeah.
I think
EJ,
one of your guys' years, either 2003 or 2004, had what is it? I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, which should have been mentioned in the worst column. That's
think-
fucking awful.
I think that's 2004. I think it might be 2005 actually.
Was it? I was looking at a lot of years, and I know I
Yeah.
saw that. I was like, whatever year this is a contender now just from having that movie in it.
And I mean, how
Um,
do you screw up using Oscar Isaac as fucking Apocalypse and X-Men and then new
Yeah,
cast?
that's
Just
so bad.
astounds
You're right.
me.
I will say
especially
though,
from the frame of reference
2016,
of tentpole like blockbusters. TJ, you got a good
2016
year there.
Yeah.
The boy,
2016
Jared
brought
Kushner's
us The
debut.
Boy. So I don't know, guys. I think it was worth it to have that year. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. You have a good year there. I think really though. I know Brian. We're leaving Brian for last here, but they're all shit years. Like when you look at
Like
them
I
and
said,
you
there's
put
been
everything
some
on a
like
scale.
every year's got
Now-
good, but man, they're like
Can I?
especially like I said,
I-
early 2000s. Like it was
I
rough.
really like kind of dove into this the year looking up and all this. Did you weigh each movie as their own weight, or did you put like more into one? Because I remember.
Well, here, let me
no,
talk a little bit about why I picked my year, because a couple of the reasons I picked my year, which ended up being 2009, was because of some of the movies I saw on the most popular list from that year. One of them, obviously, Avatar, the most forgettable, least impactful culturally, but
That's a La La Land for me.
also remember because I was thinking, I was like,
How
I was
dare
thinking
you?
I was thinking about how Iron Man ushered in the superhero era as we know it. Like obviously superhero movies came in with like Blade and X-Men, but like the new generation, the most popular ones came after Iron Man in 2008, and Dark Knight came out that
Iron
year
Man,
too.
yeah, Dark Knight.
But I was like, in 2009, we got that with Avatar, but what it ushered in was shitty 3D movies and like either forcing movies that didn't need to be 3D to be 3D or reverse converting movies that were never meant to be 3D into 3D and like watching them. Remember, it was just so dumb and bad. And like, so that was like a 5 or 6 year cycle. We had to deal with that. That sucked. Another super popular movie from that era that I know a lot of people like, but I consider to be quite bad and also like ushered in a bad era was The Hangover. Like to me, everybody who told me they liked The Hangover seemed like a person who had never seen an R-rated comedy before. It was like, oh my gosh, it was so raunchy. Did you see the movie? I was like, yeah, man, that's what R-rated comedies are. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then like we just got that, but slightly different, and we're still getting it. I mean, everything. Like you talked about Office Christmas Party and stuff like Rough Night and all these movies, even stuff like Horrible Bosses, is all like pulling from that kind of same vibe as The Hangover and like really kind of like taking that. I don't know. I feel like it did damage to movies as a whole. It was like the start of a bad trend, and so I weighed that in as
It
part
kind
of
of
it.
also it kind of like the one guy from National Treasure. I don't remember. No one knows his fucking name. The guy
Ben.
who's in the office, Andy. The only career it really because Zach Galifianakis was going to get it no matter what. I'm pretty sure he was in there. He was
And
gonna
like by now we're already over Brad. What's his
Yeah.
face? Like he did
Yeah,
the last
who,
thing
like-
he was those Stars Born, and nobody gave a fuck about him anymore. Like
shoves those characters. Like I'd rather have some like old school where it takes older characters which you've seen in movies and TV before. You're not forced to fucking love them for the next like 30 years other than Will Ferrell.
Well, I think like I
Still raunchy comedy.
was the good age for Hangover, but I don't know. Hangover was fine, but I think also a problem Hangover had too was just like trying to not even capitalize it on its sequels. They tried to be like Todd Phillips
just
got all
rinse
like
and repeat for the sequels.
rinse and
Yeah.
repeat, but then he got like more like digged in like emo on the sequels.
Well, also the third one should be like immediately banished for wasting John Goodman. You had John Goodman and you fucking wasted him. So fuck you forever for
Yeah.
that, right? Like,
And
now
also,
I'm gonna read off some of the bad movies from this year. Some of these you might think are good, but I think they are either bad or dumb.
I'll write down
Like The
good.
Blind Side. If you think The Blind Side is good,
Awful.
you're probably a dumb person.
Awful.
I'm sorry, I'm a
Gamer.
dumb person. Though.
Gamer is a fucking terrible movie.
Oh,
Gerard
Gamer's
Butler
terrible.
popping
I
up
don't-
again.
Damn
2012. Remember 2012? That shit
That's
sucked
bad.
ass. That was like the death of the disaster movie. It was like,
Yeah, it
okay,
was
yeah,
bad.
we're done here. Here's a
Whatever,
movie that a
get
lot of
back.
people like, but it's actually only a first 10 minutes are good, and that's Up.
I
love you, Brian.
Push. You guys remember Push? That sucks.
no.
Okay, all right, hold on, dude. Hold
Boondock
on.
Saints.
Hold on.
Remember when the sequel to Boondock Saints came out, guys?
Yeah,
Holy
No one does
shit.
because it was
Bad,
terrible.
G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. You might think of that as the better G.I. Joe movie, but when like
No, I don't
the
think
first
so.
one is in the garbage and then
Don't
better
they kill
is
the
just
Rock
like
in like the first 20
not
minutes?
total
too?
garbage, that's not good. That's still a very bad movie.
Yeah, there's a reason why they stopped making them.
Here's
Oh,
a movie that I always have to stand up for that I would say was good, but everybody else will say is bad, so I'll mention it here. Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, that movie stinks.
No, it doesn't. Shut up.
As far as
Yo,
good
watch,
movies, I will
Duncan
shout
Said
out
and find
District
out what I
9
think.
is a winner from this year.
Yeah.
Inglorious Bastards is from this year. Even though I'm a Zack Snyder hater for the most part, I like The Watchmen. I don't think I think Watchmen's a fine movie. There were
So
some other
Brian-
ones. Oh, and one you should check out, Broken Lizard Slammin' Salmon. Basically their version of Waiting, and it's much better.
Sir?
I haven't seen that. I want to.
I believe this also was the first year the Oscars did expanded to a 10-year nomination. So this movie, this year, they are saying, I'm not saying it's good at all, saying it had 10. There's 10 Best Picture nominations. That's
Oh, okay.
why, like,
I would
Nine
say
got-
Bruno came out this year. So,
Oh no one likes
all right,
Bruno.
game over.
Bruno.
Is that it?
Manhunter.
Are we done with? Is that
Manhunter.
all of our topics? Did we do all our topics?
Manhunter.
Let's get
Yeah,
this-
we're on
Time
a
to talk about
Manhunter.
guys. We've been obsessed with Hannibal Lecter. We love him. He's on Hannibal. The show is on Netflix now. Everybody's been enjoying it. The Flyover boys have been binging it. A lot of us are fans of the Thomas Harris movies, the Anthony Hopkins ones. But I think some of us maybe hadn't seen 1986, Michael Mann, Manhunter. Dino De Laurentiis produced, just like most of the Thomas Harris movies. Guys, do you want me to? It's the premise of Red Dragon. If you're familiar with Thomas Harris's work, you know Will
Could you give us
Graham.
a synopsis?
Yeah, let me just real quick. Will Graham is like a profiler. He's been kind of semi-retired after catching Hannibal Lecter. He gets kind of drawn out because there's a new killer. He goes to talk to Hannibal Lecter. If you're familiar with Silence of the Lambs, this might sound familiar. He goes to talk to Hannibal Lecter to kind of get an idea about this new killer. He has to deal with Hannibal Lecter fucking with him and also trying to catch this killer. That's pretty much the premise of the movie, right? You don't
Yep.
need much more than that.
Yeah.
The movie Red Dragon is based on it. The third season of Hannibal is based on it.
Oh, boy, yes. Let's go. Let's
so-
do this.
So what was our familiarity? Who hadn't seen this before at all?
I did
TJ.
not.
Just TJ and Joe. Either one of you guys
Surprisingly.
do you want to start? You can go ahead. I won't. know?
I'll give TJ the floor because I did a full-on Hannibal series rewatch of everything.
Are you? So it's a rewatch for you. So you've seen it though, right? I'm assuming.
No. I'd never seen Manhunter. I'm saying I watched the
Oh,
whole entire. So I'm
You were
coming at
familiar
it
with all. Were you familiar with all the Anthony Hopkins movies before? So you'd
Yeah.
seen Red Dragon.
How about the Hannibal TV show?
I got to the end of season 2. I kind of petered.
Okay.
You didn't get to see that because
Okay.
basically their season 3 they kind of get into Red Dragon. So
Yeah.
they
One
do a
thing I'll
version of
say
this
that-
too.
One thing before we get in, which I found so,
Yeah.
I texted you guys it today, which I found so interesting, was after watching literally all of them, like I watched Silence of the Lambs coincidentally like 3 weeks ago. So like watching all of them so soon, and the Mad show, is seeing the similarities of like pulling from the stories, like here and there, like like over the course of movies,
whatever
like,
contract Thomas Harris had to adapt his work, it must have been fairly strict because like they stick to a lot of the same plot points. They don't deviate a lot, and maybe that's why we've had 3 successful adaptations. Like I can't think of something that's been so successfully adapted.
So that's just where I stand on that. But like, my thoughts on Manhunter, and just keep it at that is, let me cards on the table. I loved it. I love the atmosphere. Yeah, I text you guys like the lead they had as Will. Like he looks so much like Ethan from H3H3 that I like. At some points, I'm like,
it's William Peterson from CSI fame fame.
Also, the dad from Fear who fucks up Mark Wahlberg. That's
oh my god, you're right.
Yeah,
I didn't really. But it's just like this. It was a solid thriller.
Can I say it for you? Can I just say it for you? This movie fucks. Fucks.
This to me, honestly, is the as a tweet I put out today. It's the best adaptation of Red Dragon.
Here's what I thought about it. Like I'm a big fan of all of these works.
Dragon, but
I think it's maybe not like there's some things about we can talk about that I would pick out, but like it definitely, regardless of if you think it's the best or not, it earns its spot just by being so like Michael Mann put so much style into it. The color palette of it's really incredible. The cinematography is really good. The fucking music bangs so hard in this movie.
My big note.
This is like the soundtrack to Manhunter is what I feel like movies like was it It Follows and like Stranger Things are trying to invoke what this movie does with its music. Like,
so my first note I have is like big fan of this 80s synth score. Like it just
when we talked about how Michael Mann also directed Miami Vice, and then you watch this movie, you're like, oh yeah, he like just soaked up the 80s. And when he made Miami Vice, he was like, oh, I'm just gonna do it like I did Manhunter.
So there were 2 standouts of this movie. It was the music and the synth score, which you already called. And then, and I'm just jumping around here, is especially after watching Red Dragon this morning, like the Anthony Hopkins,
Brett Ratner's only good movie, maybe?
Yeah. That one, Tom Noonan is so much better as the Tooth Fairy than Ray Fiennes. Like because he looks odd. Like
Thomas Noonan. He's also the Frankenstein from Monster Squad.
Like I'm saying,
it was my thing when I was watching this one was like
he just looked like he has a look to him. He's so much.
I mean, Ray Fiennes is great because he's like he plays it, but they play it so different. Ray Fiennes is played super like intimidating and scary. Tom Noonan is played kind of soft. Like he feels like a guy who would be kind of shy, like Francis Dollarhide would be. Francis is becoming the thing about Red Dragon, like the Ray Fiennes version is like you're like, oh, he's becoming a monster, but he kind of already seems like a monster. He's all scary and intimidating and shit. Whereas Tom Noonan seems a little soft, like soft spoken, and he's huge and he looks the part. But
to me, to me that was my like main note of everything. He was tremendous. Blind Joan Allen, or AKA Sean Archer's wife.
She had a reason to touch faces in this one.
Literally my note is Sean Archer's wife is blind and still face waterfalling. Because but anyway, just let everyone out.
Characteristically quiet over there.
Yeah, just let everyone get their notes, like get their thoughts in. I loved it. I even sorry, you gotta give me who's the Hannibal Lecter?
Brian Cox. Oh, I was gonna say
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox yet.
Brian Cox
legend,
is Hannibal Lecter.
Legend, Brian Cox.
He is like, honestly, he's the movie version. This sounds weird. Follow me here. He's the movie version Mads Mikkelsen. If Mads Mikkelsen had a movie version about him in Hannibal, it would be Brian Cox.
I almost would go
Not-
the opposite way.
Not.
See, I think they're
Anthony
more. I think
Hopkins.
he's more distinct than that. I don't think he feels like Hopkins or Mads. I think he's
Well,
like.
they don't feel like anyone.
Feels
I meant
more,
the
he feels a little slicker. He feels a little like kind of more casual.
Talking about
They're
the
both more.
interpretation.
Mads and Anthony Hopkins kind of play it both more like sophisticated, whereas Brian Cox is kind of down and dirty.
Okay, I just meant like if like there was an interpretation and we were watching a movie of Matt Mikkelsen's life, it would be Brian Cox, not Hannibal, and not Anthony Hopkins.
You really
That's
need to watch that third season so you can get because they do basically this story, so you'll get to see Mads' interpretation of it.
okay.
Okay. This is tough. A lot of the notes that I have, you've seen it. You know what Red Dragon is. You're gonna see it. You see a lot of parts in that thing. But I'll tell you what. I think because Brian and Yusuf told me that they found out while shooting the third season that they're probably gonna get canceled, so they kind of forced the Red Dragon story.
It does feel a little rushed in the second half. I agree.
This is, the last 6 episodes of the Hannibal season 3. This is almost verbatim. Like, it's almost verbatim. Like, they take a lot of the lines
Is there a
word for
blind
word.
girl in it?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You saw
absolutely.
Red Dragon, right? The movie.
They do Red. Like I'm saying, they do Red Dragon. In the
Okay,
third
I was
season.
just wondering because like
She's also the hottest version, I believe, in the TV show. I don't mean to objectify women, but sorry,
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
she
That's
is
a
the
fair
hottest
assessment.
version in the TV show.
well, it's
Go Down
the
also
one-
is a dime. But this movie, can someone just, because I always do this thing where I start a movie and I get the names off the opening credits. Stephen Lang's in this.
He's
Who
Freddie
is that?
Lounds. He's
Freddie
Freddie
Lounds.
Lounds.
Fuck out of here.
I know, right? It blew me away. I've seen this movie like 5 or 6 times probably, and I had no idea.
The craziest
And I
thing
saw his
about the
name, and I
movie-
looked it up, and I was like, "It's that Stephen Lang too."
That's
I had to
so-
make sure. I was like, "It's probably just a dude with a similar name." Hell no, it's him.
I wrote down. This movie has tons of some of the best '80s character actors. Like, and normally a lot of these character actors play assholes or like. Jack Crawford, the guy who played Jack Crawford, is 90% of the time like a
Dan
prick in
Dennis
these
Farina,
movies.
baby.
Is
Hell
that
yeah.
the cop?
Yeah,
Is that the cop?
yeah. But he's also
yeah.
like everyone, like even the show, Jack Crawford has moments of unlikability, or in the movies also. But like in this one, you like him. You know he feels for Will at some point and
Yeah,
stuff
in
like
this
that.
movie, he feels more just like Jack's. He just feels more like Will's boss, but like
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels
you know,
like-
he's almost totally just a good guy. There's no like
Where do I
gray
know
area
him?
for him in this one.
I sound like a mom. Where do I know him from?
Unsolved
Dennis
Mystery.
Farina, lots of things. I don't know. He was on The
Unsolved
Sopranos.
Mysteries.
He did he did the reboot of Unsolved Mysteries.
No,
Yeah,
man.
he was on Law and Order. He came in on Law and Order.
New Girl. He's Nick's dad.
I don't
I'm gonna
know,
look
man.
this
Y'all
shit
trying
up.
to DB him. It's crazy. You talk about cast. There's did you guys see fucking
Chris Elliott?
Chris Elliott pops up here? I know. I was blown away. I was like, wow, that guy really looks like Chris Elliott. And I looked him up. It was him.
For a second, I was like, "Oh my god, Doc Brown's in this." But I was like, no, it's Thomas
Also,
Newman
this movie
in the
shares a
fucking
couple
Red Dragon.
cast members with Silence of the Lambs. Dan Butler, who was Bulldog on Frasier, he pops up in this, and also Frankie Faison, who plays Barney in all of the Silence of the Lambs, Red Dragon, and Hannibal. He's the guard who is like Hannibal's basically personal guard who lets people in and out to see him. He's in this as like a cop right near the end. That's wild. I was like, oh my god, that guy! I've seen that guy.
Oh man, you guys are gonna hate me. You guys
What
are
do you
gonna
know
hate
him
me while you
from?
recognize him. Stealing Harvard.
You son of a bitch!
Joe.
I hate you so goddamn much.
Also about the thing I love about Brian Cox and Lecter, I did get an Anthony Hopkins feel from him.
Looks like black hair.
But again, they did. No, that's just what they do. But
I feel like just
I'm
like
saying a
his
lot of his
Hannibal's
lines are
more
verbatim.
casual than
Yeah.
Tony's.
And then, but the way they did it, I'm sitting there, I'm like, before that, I really caught a lot of the shots. They did like anytime Hannibal Lecter and Will were in a scene together, the camera was at like 2 feet off the ground, facing upwards to give like Hannibal Lecter more of like a menacing
Looming, yeah.
presence. Yeah, because I'm like, how tall is Brian Cox? He looks so small when the camera actually goes behind him at some point, and people are in the frame with him. He's 5'9", so I don't want to say anything because so am
Because you're
I.
5'9".
Fuck you. But I know, Brian, you were saying you didn't like the underusage of them. I thought I got angry about this at one point. So I'm like, how long am I gonna fucking wait to see the Red Dragon? But I kind of like what they did to build up to
They
him.
wait, yeah. You don't see him Tooth Fairy till
he
an
gets
hour
Fred.
into the movie.
Yeah, until he gets Freddy, and then
It's
they
my favorite part.
Yeah, and then it's cool because you get again with these movies. You're saying with Thomas Harris. I want to give Yusef a fucking minute to speak a fucking word in. But all the usage of characters you see throughout the movies, the TV show, and from Philip Seymour Hoffman's Freddie Lounds to I'm not sure the actress who plays in the TV shows Freddie Lounds, like all these things is happening now. Stephen fucking Lang, like man, this might be my favorite franchise of all time.
That's what I'm saying. They've adapted it every time they've gone to adapt this work. They've done a good job.
Except Hannibal Rising.
And I want to
Well,
say,
no, but I mean specifically Red
actual
Dragon.
book
I'm talking about
sucks,
specifically
too.
Red Dragon.
but I want to save
But
a
the
question
book
for the
sucks,
very
too.
end. I want to save a question for the very end, like a fun little thing that we'll say. But Yusef, going.
Yeah,
Please.
Yusef, you need to talk, buddy. Come on, get that beautiful accent out here.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's a great movie. I saw this movie first before Silence of the Lambs. I didn't even know it was a thing. I just saw it on TV and fell in love with
Puerto Rico.
with the torture dynamic that Will has, and I feel like this is the best Will version, at least for me.
Yeah, I'm
because
with
it's a
you on this one.
mixture. It's a mixture of TV and Edward Norton. Like
I don't.
Will in the TV show is
For
way
me,
too
it's hard
cold.
not to give the TV show the edge just because they always have more time to develop the character than
Yeah.
anybody else.
not-
You know what I mean? It's unfair because they have hours and hours of content to like build the character.
This is where I think Yusef has the edge though on this one because I'm like 100% with him. The minimal screen time he has in this, 2 hours and 4 minutes, you feel for Will like almost throughout the entire
So
fucking
guys,
thing.
You
I-
understand that he has a past without
Yeah.
having to
So the-
without saying it.
dive into
So
it.
watching the whole series and whatnot, piggybacking on what Yusuf was saying is, it was crazy the shot for shot of the beach scenes they have in Edward Norton's Red Dragon.
Yeah, I think
and
Edward Norton is the
in this
worst.
Will.
It's the worst.
I
Yeah.
agree.
The weakest.
I'll tell you what, that version is missing. The scene with Will and his son at the grocery store is one of the best like character development scenes for Will Graham in this whole movie.
Yeah.
And it's missing from Red Dragon, and there's nothing like that in Hannibal either.
So
No.
so sorry. Go on, Yusuf. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So I don't know.
Please.
And also I feel like the best thing about this movie is how little information they give us and we still are able to build the world that Hannibal lived before.
Yeah.
Like they don't even tell you all the things that Hannibal has done or what happened between Hannibal and Will, but just like the scene where he says, "Why are you coming back? You just want the scent again." And Will starts to freak out and wants to go away. You instantly know that Hannibal has fucked with him so much that even just that word triggers him and he has to run away from Hannibal. And also, I like the matter of fact of this Hannibal. Obviously, I think it's kind of hard to rank them because all of them have such a great performance and all of them are different. But this Hannibal, in comparisons to Hopkins, who is, like Joe said, quippy and it's always like he's always like having too much fun.
It's funny after watching the show and then watching Hopkins, you can't imagine Hannibal from the show acting like that towards people and being like that kind of rude, the way Hopkins can kind of like really sass people. Sorry, excuse me.
And then
like
Mads
the way he treats Clarice,
slick.
you can't see Mads acting like that.
I think a problem with the Hannibal becoming so popular after Silence of the Lambs of Hopkins is those later movies made like almost a decade later where they were like, cool, he's the greatest movie villain of all time. We need to give him the zingers. We need to do this. Like Because if you watch the original, he doesn't have any like quippy lines. They
he
just became
does.
iconic lines.
I don't know. He burns
Smart.
Clarice a couple times. Like,
Yeah.
But what I would
But
say,
not like I think I'll
They're
go for
more
the
like
hawk.
they're more strategically smart than just being like meh type of fucking.
Yeah, sorry. Like,
but what I like about Brian Cox is like he seems bored. Like everything is underneath him, and like everybody's coming towards him, and he's like, he's even scratching his eyes in a couple of scenes. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, sure, just like leave me the file, I guess."
But then he gets like a little excited. He's like, "Leave me the files. You'll bring me more, right? You'll contact me."
And
through
he
the
acts a
phone?"
lot through the eyes. That's what I like.
Yeah.
It's like always like just staring people down, which I
And
really
that
like.
part when he calls the secretary and does the whole bubblegum thing
Yeah.
is
yeah, that's dope. I love that. I love
Yeah,
how
man.
simple it is. I love
Yeah.
how like they just and they don't like in Silence of the Lambs they do a lot of those qualifiers where like they talk about how smart Hannibal Lecter is and how crafty he is before you ever see him. Whereas this one they just let Cox's performance speak for itself. You know what I mean? They just kind of let him do his thing and then like antagonize Will in his own way, and they don't go out of their way. There's not a lot of like extraneous exposition here.
Yeah.
No, literally the only moment of exposition from them is fuck. I'm blanking now. Go ahead, Joe. You tell me what you're gonna say. Well,
oh no, I was doing my Jodie Foster.
Well, I was gonna say the one thing they did leave out. I'm not. I never read the Thomas Harris books. I'm not gonna pretend that I did. But I did see the movies, and we know that movies are better than books. Just kidding.
No, I stand by that.
Yeah,
Movies are
in
better
this
than
one
books, guys.
they leave out the mother stuff that we know of. I mean, other than like a couple little things that we assume those are probably her teeth instead of him buying them at some point. And they kind of leave. I mean, the more of the worship of the Red Dragon, we get it, and like you know that he wants to call himself that, but like in the movies and the TV show, they more go into like the worship of it and like where he learned it from.
I'll tell you what I miss from the other adaptations is him eating the painting. That's one of my favorite things.
I was waiting for
and
this.
I miss that. I do miss that.
Yeah.
And I miss the big tattoo. They do more wall murals. His apartment's all muraled up.
Yeah.
And I like the look of his crazy like 80s apartment with the weird murals on the walls and stuff. I do like that. But I miss the tattoos, you know.
Yeah. And then I want to go Thomas Noonan real fast. I don't want to skip to the end.
No, we could.
No. I'm not gonna skip to it, but I want to say like I love this movie, and then like in the last 30 minutes, it went like full hard 80s.
Yeah.
With like the as soon as he starts having sex with Rita, and they do like that scene. They go like, and again, you don't know what because I think they do kind of like a Joker thing because you see what he sees with Rita and the guy who drives her home, which is a fake. Like he thinks he sees it, but he doesn't see it.
Right. Like you kind of see his perspective of what's happening and compared to what's really happening.
And then
that's the only scene that I would change, though.
It's a lot more subtle in this one. I mean, in the other movies, they really get into like his struggle with I want to be Red Dragon. I'm turning into the Red Dragon, but maybe I don't want to because of the lovable woman, you know, and whatever.
Well, he talks about having the woman and the sun worshiping the dragon, so that's how he sees her when he sees that light. That's why he wants to like take her.
I disagree with Yusuf though of
the music in that scene is like I am more powerful than I
am. They go hard in that scene.
I just really I was
strong as I am.
I think
like,
I
I'm gonna kill people. It's like,
I think I was just enjoying like an absurd loud song overtaking like a full scene.
Yeah,
and like really listening to the song.
Yeah, but like then it gets to
because I don't see that very often. You don't see like it didn't.
Like I said, if nothing else, this movie's got such a distinct style. Like I mean, it's like no matter where you fall on the spectrum of how you feel it compares to the other adaptations, like you can respect how this movie is made and what it looks like and the vibe of it and the feel of it. Like I think that's really great.
The moonlit sequences, like their houses and how the moon is always.
The colors reminds me of I was complaining online about my transfer. I was like, I've had this limited edition Anchor Bay DVD forever, and the fucking transfer is just shit. It looks terrible. And I was like, man, the colors in this are so rich and like the stuff is so cool. Like, it reminds me of like Suspiria, with
Oh, yeah.
like the hard color palettes and stuff. And I'm like, this deserves a nice Blu-ray. What, like, the way I'm
Yeah.
watching it feels shitty.
Scream Factory might do one.
There is a nice.
say-
Oh, there is one for sure.
Oh, there's. Oh, so my I have very few notes on this. One of my notes, speaking of this scene, how much I did like it, I wrote down the date murder scene is Aces, the music, and then him just going, "Francis is gone." It was so.
Yeah.
It was so fucking eerie.
Out of the three adaptations, I think the TV show does the home invasion the best.
Yeah.
Because they give the wife agency, and she has that badass escape sequence.
Well, they also do that kind of in this one too, where she like go back to your room. She
Yeah.
sees the thing on the roof. I was gonna say the what the fuck's his name? I always want to call him Nick Cage. I don't know why. I'm sorry, Joe. Thank
Edward
you.
Norton?
That one, she's just like, oh my god, help me, type of a thing.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah,
these
he's
ones,
like shooter.
she knows the situation, so she's kind of built in to know that if someone hears something weird outside, it could be, you know what I mean, whatever's happening to him on the outside of his work.
Yeah.
Also, and I think this is the movie that has most of the actors coming back from Flyover Style Films movies, because we had Tom Noonan. We also have Kim Greist, who is the female lead of Brazil, and we had Chris Elliott from
Oh
Canada.
snap!
You're probably right. There's one note I do have at the very end. When he goes to see his wife again, like they get back, back together. I thought it was,
Turtles?
and he was like, she's like, oh, this and that happened. Like afterwards, I always think, and this is just a movie like trope. Wild, he couldn't have called her to be like, yeah, I'm coming home. I'm all right. Like things have went down. Like have a phone conversation. Like they had their like new conversation like a week and a half out of the hospital.
I'll tell you what.
Sorry,
You know what I liked
that's just like a movie
No.
trope thing.
Nope. You know what I liked about this movie, which would never happen at that time, and even fucking today, how fast it is for them to get a private plane and helicopters so many fucking times. And also
Yeah.
the fact that they're on the plane with working phones, 100% reception, and a data fax that's working.
Yeah.
Just print out within
But
30
that-
seconds.
But that's like legit one of the best sequences of the entire fucking movie.
Yeah.
Them analyzing the paper, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good.
it's so well executed and so well edited that you're just
And also,
in it
this
with
is an
them.
era
You're like,
when
yeah,
like
edit
that
that.
CSI type shit wasn't on every day on every station. Like, you know what I mean?
then-
Like,
Nolan was a
but
forensic psychologist
Yeah.
in.
But
like,
then again, I tell you, this movie fucks. The only thing I'm a little bit disappointed is in the last when they figure out who Francis Dollarhide is, and they're enclosing on his house, and Will does this whole they do. I don't know the band. It's a really fucking. I'm pretty. If you try to buy this song today,
talking
I
about Inagata Vita by Iron Butterfly.
yeah,
oh,
it would cost so much money. This whole scene kind of blew my shit because
Jumps through the window.
and
That
and all of a
finale,
sudden
that hero
Dollarhide's
moment,
got a shotgun.
I
and he
love
starts,
it. He comes
He starts
plowing up that
terminating people through the
window,
door.
and
I
Tom
love
Noonan
that the
catches him by the neck and like slices him with a
that's
couple with a
badass.
piece
That's
of beer,
badass.
and then
Yes.
just body slams him like through a refrigerator. His hero
Yeah,
moment
TJ.
gets totally blown
I
immediately.
just want to let you know that song also it plays the whole length of the song. The song is like a 17-minute
Yeah.
song.
Yeah,
pretty
they
much.
just faded in and out throughout the fight. But I'm saying I do love the part where he catches him through the window. I don't like how it took 30 seconds for him to run from his one point. That Noonan saw him, and then he got to another point. That Noonan saw him and started walking, and then he got to another point. And at some point, he got through the crashing window, and then he starts blowing cops through the door with a shotgun, and then
Just
like
standing, like he doesn't want.
he got
cover.
real heatish.
And he takes a couple hits too, and he just like
Yeah.
stands strong. He does not go down.
And they explain the bullets that Will's using. They're like weird Teflon, like encoded.
We have
things
to
or whatever they
mention
are.
that I laughed so fucking hard that when they try to pin the murders on the Black Runner. Oh my god!
I was like,
man.
oh damn, that poor innocent
Don't
guy just
shoot.
about got murdered.
Shoot! I'm like,
That
holy
black guy
shit.
almost got murdered.
Oh, black guy
yeah.
in a hoodie, he is real lucky.
And then someone was like, why'd you
Listen, it's a
run
documentary.
dude. And then the way that the Will Graham reacts, he's like, "Don't shoot!" Like he knows that it's right
He
over
knew. He
fucking
knew. He was like, I
fire.
gotta save this dude's life.
And
I'm like,
you know that little girl in the airplane grew up to be a serial killer after her
I
experience.
love that.
And then she would explain to her victims like, "This is my design. I saw it in an airplane."
Oh wait, okay? Thank you. I was trying to think because the whole time I'm sitting there, I was like, I'm waiting for Will Graham to go like, "This is my process, but this is my design." Thank you.
It's,
Yeah, that's what it says. But no,
And sorry, the only scene that I would cut out or fix is when they do that freeze frame in the sex
Yeah.
scene.
That's very of the time.
Which one? The blue sex scene with him and his wife?
Both.
Or the
They
sex-
do two
okay,
sex
That's
scenes.
very
and
of the time.
both end on freeze frames, but you know that this movie is perfect for me.
Scarface has a ton of those too.
There's
Like
sex
those
scenes in
random free
Scarface?
frames. No, those like random freeze frames.
Yeah.
Like, that's very of the time. And I only say because I watched it late. Watched Scarface late the other night, and they share a similar score.
Oh, and also this movie serves as an origin story for the chief of police in White Chicks. He started off as a cop.
I'll take your word for it, man.
Faxing the IDs to people.
This is not the worst movie year topic anymore, man.
Okay, yeah.
So, we do the. I think we have.
Wait, real quick. Just before we do the ratings phase, I wanted to say there's a couple. I'm like TJ. I'm familiar with the movies, and I feel like I'm familiar with the ideas from the plots of the books through the movies, and seeing so many adaptations. I wanted to shout out a couple name drops that I had never paid attention to before, but when they're talking about Will Graham's previous case that Hannibal Lecter worked on with him, he talks about Derek Hobbs, which is a big part of the Hannibal series, which I feel like is a thing that like probably isn't that fleshed out in the books, but they got to like mess with because they just like pulled the names for like, what can we do with this?
Shot to death.
Also, people from you get Bloom, Dr. Bloom, who is a woman in Hannibal, but they talk about him in this one too. He's like the forensic psychologist who's working on this case before they bring in Will Graham.
Yeah.
They also name drop Jimmy Price, which is the guy I talked about, Dan Butler, who was Bulldog on Frasier. That's his character in this movie. But he's Scott Thompson in the Hannibal show. He's one of the like forensic guys. So those must all be names that are like name dropped in the book that they then adapted into the show, which I thought was interesting. I hadn't really paid much attention to the last time I watched Manhunt.
And I like that. And also I like that Freddie Lounds here is also a redhead, like in the show, even though she's a woman.
Yeah. And also I
TJ.
This every character I love, minus. Because you're not supposed to like Freddie Lounds, so I was like, he's playing like a Shooter McGavin type character. He's
a douchebag, but he's playing it well.
But I was also thinking, like, imagine the guy who played Shooter McGavin playing him also would be fucking spot on.
That would be great. Chris McDonald.
Yeah. Always love a good Chris McDonald role.
Yusef, say it again, dog.
Let's go into the ratings.
No, wait. Oh, okay, whatever. I was doing TJ was to say you had a question for us at the end of this.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to say for after the ratings phase.
Oh, okay.
Ratings phase.
We're doing the ratings phase.
Just fucking rate this movie already.
All right, I'm going to
start. I'll start.
Yeah. Okay,
this is 9 out of 10 bite marks. This movie is fucking amazing. It's probably my 5th or 6th time watching it. Like I said, I watched this before Silence of the Lambs, but I was a kid and I didn't even know that was Hannibal. Like I was just watching a good.
The way I was introduced to this movie is when I was working at Blockbuster Video, and people were talking about movies where the sequel is better than the original, and somebody mentioned Silence of the Lambs as a sequel to Manhunter because this predates Hannibal and predates Red Dragon. So at that time, there were only the 2 movies, and somebody was like, Silence of the Lambs is better than Manhunter, and I had never even heard of Manhunter. So I was like, oh, I guess I need to check this out.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue against that, but I feel like Manhunter can go toe-to-toe with Silence of the Lambs.
I think
Silence is a masterpiece, period.
Well, I think it's one of those things where because it's so stylistic, it stands on its own. Because it feels like its own thing. It feels so different from all the other adaptations.
After watching everything so close together, I think Manhunter is the tighter, cleaner movie. And Silence of the Lambs is a better movie, like by far. but it's not a breezy watch. Like Manhunter's slick.
Yeah. Well, they're structured very similarly, except in Manhunter was focused mostly on Will Graham, with Hannibal as the side player, and then Buffalo Bill coming in more in the second and third act. Where at Manhunter, it's like, or Silence is focused kind of evenly on Clarice and Hannibal, and then Buffalo Bill comes in later.
Silence is a procedural, and Manhunter is more. So that's just my point. Being is like
rate it.
Rate that
rate
shit.
You want me to rate it? It's an 8.7.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. But you, TJ?
Oh, sorry, 8.7 blind girls.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
What happened to the 0.7 girl there?
Well, she has one eye.
So I don't want to talk about it. But they gave like Hannibal Lecter like a Ted Bundy like killing college girls like background in this one. Yeah. And that was I'm pretty sure that's not his thing back in all the
There's a couple things they definitely softened for this one. They don't have the Tooth Fairy actually attack Will Graham's family, which I think is in the book and is definitely in the other adaptations. They have the threat. The threat is there, but you never really have him. And they don't do the thing where the Tooth Fairy tries to fake his own death by blowing off the face of someone else with a shotgun.
I thought he was going to.
There's some things they soften slightly for this version, but you can imagine the first attempt at adapting it and making it in the mid 80s. You could see why they would make those choices.
So I'm going to rate this a clean 8.5. Tom Noonan in a Doc Brown bald cap. That's what I'm giving this one because they gave him that weird ass headpiece in this, even though I'm pretty sure he's bald as it comes. So I wanted to just fucking make him bald. But that's my rating, 8.5. This movie was solid at Fox.
Yeah, I'm really happy everybody liked it so much. That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I was worried, whenever you introduce an older movie, especially one that's been adapted several other times and well. It's not like it had bad adaptations. Red Dragon is a good movie, and the Hannibal is a great show. I think I'm not sure. There's things that the other I wish there's things they do in the other adaptations that are from the book that I wish were in this movie we talked about. But stylistically, this movie is amazing. It looks cool. It looks so good. It's so interestingly shot. The casting is incredible. The music is incredible. Like I said, just even if you love the other version, even if you can never Silence is a classic and nothing's ever gonna top that for you, I still feel like if you're a fan of these movies, Hannibal or Manhunter fully has a place. You don't need to, you can enjoy it right alongside and not lose a step from the other ones. I'm go right along with you guys, an 8.5. 8.5. Families who get their home videos transferred to VHS.
Yeah, Yusuf.
So Joe, what are we watching next week?
All right, so thankfully, because this episode did run long, but I'm glad it did. It's been a blast. I don't have a game or anything. I actually have a movie lined up for once. I want to watch Bowfinger.
Oh.
Eddie Murphy, Steve Martin.
Force me to watch an Eddie Murphy movie. I see.
Force me.
Racism. I think one of the funniest movies.
I'm racist against Eddie Murphys
of all time. Bowfinger. I just got on Blu-ray. I love that fucking movie, and I want to watch it. So
nice.
I think the masses need to hear about Bowfinger.
That's 180 from or left turn from where we are, and I like it.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, Joe?
You find me at Chendigo1, just tweeting, doing our thing.
Okay, that's exciting.
Not much.
Little anticlimactic, but all right.
TJ, where can the people find you?
I'm just glad for once I didn't pick a bad movie and I let Joe do it. Because
Bowfinger's phenomenal.
Dude. I'm going to be the one who says it. Fuck you.
What?
Watch this fucking movie. You know what, man?
Bowfinger's tremendous. Have you ever seen it?
No, and now I'm mad that you watched it.
Yusuf knows what I'm talking about.
I've also never seen Bowfinger, so we're gonna get at least two of us.
Yeah.
It's
Man,
so
I'm
good.
I don't know. I feel like I'm thinking I might be thinking about the wrong movie, but I don't think I am.
I bet he's thinking about Bullworth.
Yeah,
I
is
bet
there a
he's thinking
movie?
about
Is there a scene in this
Look
with the
at-
cooking show? No.
No,
Yes,
the
there
whole
is.
thing.
No. Okay, forget it. Fuck you,
Yeah,
though.
man.
Love you. This is
God.
guys. This is the last episode filming where the show started. I will be in Chicago the next time we film anything together.
Chi-Town, baby.
Love you,
The
Jersey,
Win-
but I
Beantown.
yeah. So, guys,
The
I'll
home
be
of the
there.
Niagara
You'll see the new
Falls.
setup. Yep. And you guys can find me at TJDex on Twitter. I'm gonna actually film something while I'm moving, little rundown of it, and then I'll put that on the site. But guys, I think we gotta check out our duos, comedy duos bracket we just released on the Flyover State of Film YouTube channel.
That was
Before
fun.
that, we have a couple flybys you want to check out. We have another flyby coming up between Brian and Joe. I'm not sure what it is yet, but
TBD,
Teaser.
baby.
it'll be something good. And then, yeah, you guys are on the fucking YouTube. Like and subscribe. Who's next?
Brian.
Oh man, at Hercules on Twitter. I was the host of today's episode. Apparently,
When did that happen?
I don't know. I guess. I hope you enjoyed it. Yusef, where do the people find you?
WhyILoveMovies.com. Bye.